What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining me right here on Off the Script. I got a little bit of extra for you. It is September 7th, 2022. I am JD from New York, as always, coming to you from the OTS Beer Garden. Thank you guys so very much for joining me on your Wednesday afternoons, wherever you may be. And the reason why you are here is because of the CM Punk, Young Bucks, Tony Khan, AEW fiasco. I got news. I got 3 different pieces of information for you leading up to what potentially may happen tonight on AEW Dynamite, where I will be live immediately with Jesse at the end of tonight's show. Remember, guys, live on YouTube, 10:30 is when we will be going live. A little bit before that, but normally we get things going around 10:30, so join us tonight after Dynamite. Follow me on social media quickly at JD from NY206. That's Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for notifications. Hit that thumbs up. I need 1,000 likes minimum on today's OTS Extra. And if you missed anything that I've uploaded during the week, Monday Night Raw, we were live last night in front of 6,000 people live, talking about the post-show media scrum from All Out and what happened at the beginning of all of this nonsense with CM Punk, Tony Khan, the Young Bucks, Adam Page, everybody involved. We went into it for over 2 hours. Go and check that stuff out right now on the homepage. I apologize to everybody if you're watching this video. I legitimately just finished wrapping up what you're about to watch. And I needed to put this in here because it just broke. My mind is just all over the place, man. It is so fucking crazy. I don't know, man. I just, honestly, I wish it would calm down. I really do. We just got news. We just got news here that Malakai Black has been released by AEW. There's really nothing outside of what I'm about to read to you. This is coming from Fightful Select. Malakai Black is released from AEW. Fightful is reporting that belief amongst AEW talent is that Malakai Black has been released. AEW has not officially announced his release at all. His exit from the company was not an unexpected one because, as first reported last week by Raj Giri, Black requested his release, but it was denied at the time after his match at All Out, where he was pinned by Darby Allin after Sting spit black mist in his face, which I thought was ridiculous. Black waved to the fans, bowed before hugging the other members of the House of Black. Obviously, you guys can go find this on social media. People that were there tweeted it out. He hugged the House of Black. He embraced. He blew a kiss to the fans. It was almost as if it was his swan song from AEW. Geary reported the following last week about the reason why Black wanted out of AEW, and I quote, "I heard an AEW star requested their release, and follow-up sources indicate it was Malakai Black. He reported Lee has shown concerns about his mental health due to personal life and demoralization due to the booking and handling of his character. Black joined AEW a year ago after being released by WWE due to budget cuts. It's unknown what he plans on doing in the wrestling business, but a conditional release would suggest that there might be a non-compete clause, so a WWE return would not be happening anytime soon." I'm not surprised by this at all. Obviously, we have a couple of things happening here. One, his mental health. If Tony Khan let him go for his mental health, if he does have mental health problems, we don't know how serious they are. That's good on Tony Khan for letting him go. I think if a talent comes to me and says, I have mental health problems, whether it's, personal problems at home that he's having problems dealing with because he's on the road, or suicidal thoughts, whatever it may be, Tony Khan did good in letting Malakai Black go because his health is more important than anything that happens on TV or anything creative with AEW or anything in the world of pro wrestling. Number 2, the booking of his character, the booking of the House of Black has been obviously something that's weighed on his mind. I don't need Malakai to come out and publicly say it to everybody. I don't need anybody in the House of Black to publicly come out and say it. You could see it. It's not right. The caliber of talent that Malakai is, the caliber of talent that Buddy Matthews is, and Brody King and what he's done, the great work that he's done, the Trios Championships finally coming into play on AEW television, and the House of Black is not a part of the discussion to become inaugural champions. That's a problem, bro. The fucking build with Julia Hart getting there, it took forever for Julia Hart to get in there. 1 week you'd see Julia Hart tease something, and then she'd be off fucking TV for 5 weeks. The House of Black would be on TV. It would be then Tony Khan remembers, oh, I got these guys. We got this storyline. You can't do that. With episodic television, you can't do that. Which becomes a problem because, it's going to create how he feels. And going back to Tony Khan signing all of this talent, you're obviously going to embrace a problem, or it's going to become a problem where you have all this talent and you can't fit all of them on television. Malakai has been wronged by the fact of Tony Khan hiring everybody and all the new people, obviously bigger than what the House of Black is, coming on in. You got to give priority to them, and then everybody gets the fucking scraps that are left after dinner's over. It's not right. This guy came in with a splash, going after Arn Anderson, going after Cody Rhodes, becoming a guy coming over from WWE that's going to be a fucking defection from what WWE used to be. And they're still working through that. They're trying to become better. I get it. Coming over from there, being wronged over there, coming here and getting a spotlight and a fucking fresh slate to go and be what we thought he should have been, what we knew he should have been in WWE, only to come here and be treated the same fucking way and end up feeling the same way he was feeling in WWE. It's wrong. It's wrong. So a conditional release. They mentioned conditional release. Conditional release. They let him go with that conditional release in quotes. This means we'll let you go, but we don't want you signing with WWE because obviously we know if we let you go, then that's always going to be, the foundation for why we're letting you go. Here we go. We'll let you go, but don't go to WWE. They probably will end up giving Malakai a year to sign with somebody else. They'll probably pay him. They'll put in the contract, you're not allowed to go work anywhere else, major television wrestling company with anybody else for a year. Sit at home, we'll pay you. You go do what you got to do, get right, and then goodbye. And then goodbye. They don't want him immediately going to from AEW to WWE because if he goes right, if they let him go without a non-compete and he goes up and shows up on SmackDown fucking, 3 weeks from now, 4 weeks from now, is the mental health excuse going to be something that is going to be looked upon as a good thing? Not saying that it's an excuse, but that reason that you gave Tony Khan, is that going to be looked at as, oh yeah, he had mental health issues, but if I see him go to WWE in the next 4 weeks, I'm going to call bullshit on him having mental fucking health issues. Not really a good look. So we'll give you a year, we'll pay you, and then we'll go and part our ways at that point. So yeah, it's basically they don't want him to go to WWE, but they know that he's going to end up back in WWE regardless because now Triple H is over there. Again, this is also a very sticky situation for AEW. How many other people are unhappy like Malakai there because of mental health or because of the way that they've been booked on television? How many? Now you let him go. Who's to say somebody else doesn't come to Tony Khan and speak to Tony Khan? Hey, I got mental health issues. I'm not happy with the way I'm being used creatively. Are they going to say no to those people too? Because I said this yesterday. If Malakai's let go, you're also setting a precedent of if you let him go, then you got to let everybody else go. How many other people that we don't know of are unhappy in AEW? I'm sad for this. I really am sad for this. I am. He was such a major get for them and had such major star potential, world championship caliber fucking performer as Malakai Black. And here we are, gone from the company after a year. Legitimately a year and a couple of months. It's sad. It really is. So if I hear anything else on this, I will let you guys know. Any more news about it, I'll let you know. I had to throw this into the podcast today because, I basically did something just on CM Punk and the suspensions and what potentially could be happening with CM Punk at the end of today's business day, at the end of Dynamite, what Tony Khan potentially could be doing with CM Punk and Steele, during tonight's show. I had to throw this in there, so I apologize for the jump cut. We're going to get right into the CM Punk talk, and again, I appreciate you guys for all of the late-breaking news. I'm trying to be on top of this as much as I can, But anything else, I'll let you guys know tonight on Dynamite when we go live on YouTube with Jesse. Anything else on Malakai, I'll fill you guys in over there. I want to start at the beginning and then get into the latest news that we have that broke this morning before we get to tonight's Dynamite in Buffalo. This is coming from Sean Ross Sapp and Fightful Select. They've learned more about the fight that happened at the end of the All Out media scrum. Per the Punk and Ace Steele side of things, after the scrum, the Young Bucks approached Punk's locker room door, and Punk wasn't answering the door after having been in a long match, bloodied, and finished with an emotional scrum. The Bucks were said to have pounded on the door with claims that they kicked the door down. I guess they had a super kick party legitimately on CM Punk's locker room door. According to Punk and Steele and their side of things, Matt Jackson swung first. Now, this is going to end up being a he said nonsense. And yesterday we discussed that CM Punk was the one that threw fists at Nick Jackson, and Ace Steele had thrown a chair and bit Kenny Omega. So we got two sides of the story now, one different than the other. So we don't really know what had happened here after the scrum was over. So according to Punk and Ace Steele's side of things, Matt Jackson swung first but missed, and Punk responded. We're told at Fightful that at that point, Nick was pretty much taking it in. Omega and Steele pushed their way into the room. Ace Steele's wife was in the room, which is what Steele had told people set him off and made him go ballistic, because the wife of Ace Steele was in the room, and I don't know why that would make him go ballistic, but that's their side of the story. Throwing chairs and ending up biting Kenny Omega. The claim made from him was that he was looking out for his wife above anything else. I mean, you guys take that and you interpret it however you want. It could be the case. It could be. I don't know why his wife has anything to do with this. More than likely, I call bullshit on that. And I do think that, obviously, with Punk there and all the animosity towards Punk and Punk being the one targeted by what seems to be 5 or 6 fucking different people, of course, Ace Steele is going to give you a defensive side of the story, but in actuality, he was probably ready to go to war with CM Punk. So, with Ace Steele's wife in the room, that's reportedly what set him off. From what we heard, Omega didn't seem nearly as upset initially, but things got out of hand and he ended up being bitten. We're told that the fight was a very long altercation. I believe we talked about this yesterday. It lasted, 7-8 minutes or so? A very long altercation. And that the talk back and forth did not stop after the brawl. There were rumors that CM Punk had injured his triceps during the melee. However, those near him say that it happened during a dive that many noticed during the main event with Jon Moxley. He could be seen icing it after the match during the scrum. We haven't been told of any severity, but we're told Punk was hurt going into the backstage fight. We need to point out that this is what we've heard as one side of the story, which means we haven't heard much of until this point. There are rumors running rampant that Steele and Punk are both done with AEW, but those close to them say they haven't been informed of that as of yet. Virtually all of the AEW roster that we've spoken to believe that if Punk and Steele aren't let go, heavy amends will need to be made. Now, speaking of that, we talked about all of this yesterday on the live stream that Jesse and I conducted earlier in the afternoon on Tuesday. I'm going to find it very, very, very difficult to believe that CM Punk is going to be fired by Warner or by Tony Khan. Now, it does create a huge problem if CM Punk is not fired. Now, I'll get to that in a second. Ace Steele, if I'm Tony Khan, I'm letting Ace Steele go. Ace Steele is expendable. Ace Steele is going to get fired. That's me. That's what I would do. That's my prediction as far as his status is concerned with the company. He threw a chair at Kenny Omega, who's an EVP. He bit Kenny Omega. I mean, that's grounds for termination. And I don't really believe his side of the story. Oh, my wife was there. That's the reason why I went ballistic. That's the reason why I got defensive. Bullshit. Give me a fucking break. Steele is gone. CM Punk, on the other hand, there was a report that came out today, this morning, citing that CM Punk and Steele are to be suspended or fired by AEW following the backstage fight. Now, this is coming from Justin Barrasso of Sports Illustrated this morning, that CM Punk and producer Steele will either be suspended or let go by the end of Wednesday. According to multiple sources, Punk met with Tony Khan on Tuesday. Also, Kenny Omega, Matt and Nick Jackson, Pat Buck, Christopher Daniels, Michael Nakazawa, and Brandon Cutler have been or will be suspended by the promotion. The report noted an external third-party investigation will be conducted to look at what happened. As previously noted, Punk voiced his frustrations during the media scrum with several notable names, obviously starting with Colt Cabana and then obviously going to Adam Page and all the EVPs, blasting them completely in every which way. One of the funniest things that he said is that he works with children, they've spread lies, and they're EVPs, yet they couldn't manage a fucking target, is what CM Punk said. So those names, keep in mind those names. All of those names have been suspended by AEW. Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, Pat Buck, Christopher Daniels, Michael Nakazawa, Brandon Cutler, all suspended according to Steve Muehlhausen of DAZN. Confirmed by Justin Barrasso. He backed that up and he put something out on Twitter verifying the report. It is confirmed that those names are suspended by AEW. Dave Meltzer also reported that they have been suspended in addition to the Bucks and Omega. It's unclear how long they will be suspended, but it's longer than a week. Also, there is an external third-party investigation underway right now regarding the fight because Meltzer talked about this, that there are legal ramifications about what had happened and what came out of the media scrum after All Out was over. Now, I said this on the stream yesterday. I said this during my NXT live stream yesterday as well last night. Steele's gone. He's going to be fired. CM Punk, on the other hand, is a big, big, big what if. He's a big question mark. Do I think Tony Khan should fire CM Punk? No. I don't think that Tony Khan should end up firing CM Punk. I mean, it would be absolutely shocking if he lets CM Punk go. Now, would I be shocked if he does get fired? I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm not going to be shocked. I would be shocked. But at the same time, it's a toss-up for me. I'm 50-50. I'm not going to be surprised if Tony Khan lets him go because if Tony Khan has to let CM Punk go, it's one of two reasons. One, Warner Media, or two, CM Punk is going to walk out on his own. I can't envision an AEW where Tony Khan is going to let his biggest money maker go. It is so ridiculous to me to have CM Punk here 1 year and then him gone literally after a full calendar year with all the bullshit that he spewed and all the hype that he was given and all the fucking spotlight and platform that he was given. It's just ridiculous to even think about. When I think about it, I can't fathom it. The one thing I do think, if it does come down to that, the one thing I could really sit here and tell you is if Tony Khan and CM Punk did talk and Tony Khan and CM Punk came to one decision, it would be CM Punk to make that decision. If Punk doesn't want to be here because of what happened, if Punk doesn't want to apologize, if Punk doesn't want to do business, if Punk is going to continue being a headache, Tony Khan is going to leave it up to CM Punk. Tony Khan, I could see sitting CM Punk down. You have to go apologize. You have to go talk to everybody. We have to have a meeting. You have to apologize. You have to address this. You have to do it because you are the focus of this entire thing. Everybody's in the wrong. The Bucks are in the wrong. Omega's in the wrong. Tony Khan is in the wrong. Punk is in the wrong. Steele is in the wrong. Everybody that fucking got involved is in the wrong. But Tony Khan is going to leave it up to CM Punk and give him the ultimatum of, listen, I don't want to get rid of you. I don't want to get rid of you. I know what you're worth. I want you here. I need you here, Punk. Obviously, he's making all this sorts of money. I think Tony Khan's going to leave it up to CM Punk to either say, okay, I stay, I'll apologize, or I'm done. I'm walking away. And Tony Khan's, all right, we can't do business. Let's get the paperwork together. You don't want to be here. I'll get it going. Goodbye. And we did business for 1 year, and that's the way it's going to be. That's what I think is going to happen here. That's what I think is going to happen. It's either going to be Warner stepping in and making a decision for Tony Khan, or CM Punk making a decision for himself and just walking away. I can't see Tony Khan firing CM Punk. Now, without Tony Khan firing CM Punk, if he doesn't go and fire CM Punk, does this raise the question of how will the locker room morale be if CM Punk is still there? How many people in that locker room want CM Punk gone? That's my question. Major heat in that locker room for CM Punk. How many people? They did say, the report did say from Fightful that if Punk is going to be welcomed back into this locker room, that amends will be made or have to be made. Is CM Punk going to buckle down and admit defeat here? Is that in his character? Will he go out there and apologize to the Young Bucks? Will they sit down and hash things out? Will he sit down with the locker room and apologize for the embarrassment that he caused? Listen, I'm a big CM Punk guy. I don't blame CM Punk at all for defending himself. I don't blame CM Punk for going out there and telling his side of the story when it comes to Colt Cabana. That is his right. He can do whatever he wants and feel however he wants about Colt Cabana. But the fact of the matter is, you have EVPs here, and again, he defended himself. You have EVPs here leaking shit, theoretically, supposedly, to the dirt sheets to make CM Punk look bad. You have Adam Page making narratives up on television about Colt Cabana when it has nothing to do with their build going into their match at Double or Nothing, bringing shit up about workers' rights, going off the script, no pun intended, to CM Punk. And he's going out there shooting on Punk. You don't expect CM Punk to come back and shoot on you? I don't blame CM Punk for going and defending himself and holding up, the whole media scrum and telling his side of the story because he didn't have a chance to do so. But the mistake that CM Punk made is he made it public. He brought such a negative spotlight to the company. He brought such a negative aura to what was a great show on Sunday night, made everything about him, the Bucks, Page, and his fucking problems with Colt Cabana to a point where nobody's talking about anything else that happened on that show. Nobody's talking about Swerve and Keith Lee and the great match they had with the Acclaim. Nobody's talking about the future of the company and All Out except all this negative shit. Nobody's talking about MJF. That's the problem that got me most upset. Nobody's talking about MJF at the end of all of this. It's all Punk. It's all bullshit. It's all the Bucks. It's all bullshit. It's all Page. It's all Colt. It's all bullshit. That's the problem that I have. Punk made it about himself. There's a time and a place to do what he did, and he chose the wrong fucking place to do it. Tony Khan made a mistake where he just sat there and made himself a fucking human doormat. Instead of getting up, pulling Punk to the side. I love how people tell me, what'd you expect Tony Khan to do? It would have made things worse. Let me tell you something, man. Tony Khan is paying CM Punk to do what the fuck Tony Khan wants. If Tony Khan wants CM Punk to shut the fuck up, CM Punk is gonna shut the fuck up. Don't give me this bullshit. You are paying this man and giving this man a home after 7 years. And you mean to tell me that Tony Khan is just going to sit there and allow this to happen? He shouldn't have done anything. Tony Khan should have got up in the middle of the fucking scrum and pulled CM Punk to the side and say, listen, let him have it. Talk about the fucking show. Talk about your match with Moxley. Talk about how you're feeling. Talk about MJF. We'll talk about this another time. Or cut the guy's fucking microphone off. This guy is the boss. Tony Khan made the mistake of not being a fucking boss. I'm glad that everybody is right now suspended because that's the first thing in line of Tony Khan being a fucking boss. Good. I don't give a shit who these guys are or who they think they are. Suspended. Good. Everybody involved, suspended. Get rid of them. They'll come back when they come back, and no pay either. They'll learn their lesson. CM Punk, Tony Khan, Adam Page made a fucking mistake going off the script. Where was Page? He was not a part of the melee. Page was not a part of the melee. Reportedly, he had left the building before the melee even happened. He was not a part of it at all. But Page, the only mistake he made was the fact that he went into business for himself and not expecting CM Punk to return a fucking receipt to him. And him sticking up for the Bucks, obviously, because they're all in the same camp together. But it goes in line. Page and the Bucks, they're all a part of the same fucking group. They're going to be blamed all in one. Same thing with Omega. They're all going to be blamed for what they did, leaking information, fucking acting like little schoolgirls, gossiping. Meanwhile, you got CM Punk there only wanting to defend himself. And you know how he is, wearing his heart on his sleeve. I don't give a shit if he wanted to defend himself, but the way he went about it was completely wrong. And he's the world champion. This guy's the world fucking champion, and he's acting like a complete fucking embarrassing human being out there. You can't do that. You can't do that. Time and a place for everything. So at the bottom of all of this, it's all the hatred that we have here boiling over into suspensions. We don't know what's happening with CM Punk. We don't know what's happening with Ace Steele. Like I said, Ace Steele may have been on his way to being fired after this, and I do truly believe he will be fired. CM Punk, he's the biggest question mark here. A lot of question marks. Is CM Punk going to be suspended? Is he going to be fired? If he's not fired and is suspended, what's the locker room going to feel? How is he going to fix everything here? How is he going to make amends with the locker room? What happens with the World Championship? What happens with MJF? You built MJF and his return around the fact that CM Punk is the world champion. What happens to MJF? MJF is the one we should all really be feeling sorry for. You know, it really goes hand in hand with what we saw on Sunday night. Sympathy for the devil. Everybody has sympathy for MJF. It's amazing how all of that worked out and the song that he chose, and now we got what we got, and we have to have all of this happening, and everybody feels sympathy now for legitimately the devil in MJF. It's crazy to me. But at the end of the day, it's honestly, to me, going to come down to CM Punk. Is CM Punk going to want to be there? Is he going to want to do business? Is he going to want to apologize? Is he going to want to be a man? Is he going to want to apologize, make amends? Does he want to be there? I mean, I don't know. CM Punk could one day, on Sunday, could have said, fuck this shit, I don't want to be here anymore. Monday comes around, he talks to Tony Khan, maybe cooler heads will prevail. Maybe he wanted to leave. Maybe he does want to walk out. But I don't see CM Punk wanting to walk out over what could be the biggest money he's made in the entire industry in his entire career. You know, he's going to make an absorbent amount of money. Who's to say that he wanted to leave? He went home, talked to his wife, and she snapped some fucking sense into him. Listen, asshole, you're going to walk away from $15 million that Tony Khan wants to pay you. You want to walk away from all this and make yourself look like a fucking blithering idiot after you came out there, you love the fans, you love this, you love that, I'm back for you guys. You want to walk away from all of that and make yourself a fucking loser. You want to walk away from all that and have the fans look at you completely different. They will never, never apologize to you. They will never give you another chance. Never. I don't know. I don't know. If Punk stays, it has to work out. It has to work out where he apologizes, he makes amends. And at the end of the day, I said this. I said this to myself after all of it was over. I said this on the stream yesterday as well. It's just so fucking stupid. Egos. The wrestling industry is nothing but fucking egos. Nothing but egos. It is so disgusting. Meanwhile, we have all of this happening, and the only thing I can think about is how much money is left on the table. How much money's left on the table here? If they all want to do business, if they don't like each other, fine. I'm not saying you have to like each other. Tony Khan even said, pro wrestlers are not going to like each other, but as long as business is there and business is to be done, fine. But I cannot fathom the interest in the company right now, whether it's good or bad, the interest in the company is at all-time highs right now because of what is going on. They know that. They know that. I don't see how they can't turn this around and make money. I can't see how they don't turn this around and make money off of it. This is incredible. You could absolutely turn all this around and make it into one big storyline when everybody gets back on the same page. Thing is, are you going to be interested in it? You think one way or the other. You probably don't want to hear any of this. You probably want your old AEW back. You probably want the harmonious locker room and people going out there and giving you great matches. There are people that want that. There are also people that want all the drama that comes with this because this is more interesting than the shit that actually happens on TV. You could turn this into major money. Punk is not going to walk away from any amount of money. If it comes down to it, like I said, he's either going to make that decision for himself, which I think would be foolish, or Warner's going to step in and go above Tony Khan and say, we want him gone. And I don't see that happening because at the end of the day, money is king. Money is going to prevail. There's going to be money for CM Punk to be made. There's going to be money for Tony Khan and Warner to be made. This is going to be tremendous if they all get on the same page. I can't see them allowing their egos to get in the way of making something out of this into one of the biggest storylines in the last 20 years and make money off of it. I can't fathom that. What happens with the world title? I don't know. If Punk is suspended or fired, I don't know. I don't think he's going to be fired. I think Punk's going to be suspended. I think they strip him of the world title. I think we see Tony Khan tonight. I think he makes a statement. I think Punk is suspended. What does that mean for MJF? I don't know. Again, I feel bad for MJF. If it was up to me, I'd hold off on the suspension. I'd give Punk, the option of, putting MJF over and then getting suspended if he wants to stay. That's what I'm doing. Talk to him. Put MJF over. Grand Slam. Give him the world championship. We may not even get that. He may come out on tonight's show and strip CM Punk of the world championship. We may get a tournament or a ladder match happening at Grand Slam. We don't know. The title may be up for grabs at Grand Slam with MJF involved against other people who are in contention for the championship. We don't know. The Young Bucks, EVPs. I've heard people say this, and I do agree with those people. You want to be an EVP? You have to act like an EVP. That's it. You want to be an EVP, you got to act like management. You can't act like a little child. If it was up to me, I'd strip the Bucks and Kenny Omega of their EVP status. A lot of people didn't agree with it anyway. Giving talent managerial roles and high-ranking positions, high-level positions like that, you're allowing the inmates to run the asylum, and that's never a good thing for somebody like Tony Khan. And that's what people said, it gives AEW a very WCW feel. If they want to be EVPs, then they have to start acting like EVPs. I don't know if a suspension is going to fucking snap that into them. But if it was me, I'd strip them of that fucking title, and now you are nobody but somebody else in the locker room along with the rest of them. That's it. Strip them of the EVP title, put people in there that you can absolutely fucking bank on and trust, and start getting some order in the back. The whole fucking point of Tony Khan running a wrestling promotion is to surround himself with a fucking great roster that's going to go out there and do best for the company and surround himself with a management team that's going to have the locker room harmonious and equal, and everybody loves to share the locker room and everybody wants to come and work for AEW. We have not got a sense of that at all. The structure in AEW has been a huge talking point for Tony Khan. And right now, it seems like it's not there. He needs to get people there that are going to do right by him and the company. This is a complete fucking mess. A complete mess. And the last thing I will say, I know that there are some people out there that want to see CM Punk fired. If CM Punk is not fired, I know there are people out there that would think that it sets a bad precedent if he's not fired. If CM Punk is allowed to get away with this, and the Bucks are allowed to get away with this, and nobody's fired out of all this, it sets a bad precedent, especially CM Punk, to go out there as world champion and do what he did and say what he did in front of the public, which was a wrong place, wrong time situation. If CM Punk is not fired, I could see this. I'm not saying I agree with that, but I could see people's argument. If CM Punk is not fired, it sets a terrible precedent for the rest of the company, because basically you're admitting that no matter what you do, you are going to be safe from termination. And you're allowing somebody like CM Punk to continue to walk over the company and walk over Tony Khan. He did wrong. He should be punished legitimately for what he did. He did not act like a company guy. He did not act like a world champion. He embarrassed the company. I agree with him to an extent, but you can't do that in that moment at that time to AEW and Tony Khan, especially with him sitting right there. You are allowing that to happen, and you're setting a terrible precedent. It almost tells me that no matter what you do, no matter what anybody does, you will not go and suffer the consequences. You'll be allowed to continue to do it, and who knows? Who knows how that makes the locker room feel? This is a very, very bad situation. A very, very bad situation. I know a lot of people still think that it's a work. It's not a work anymore. It's not a work. It's got the potential to be turned into a work, but everything that we've seen from the moment he sat down to what we heard and what we read about how all the melee happened, it's all shoot. It's all shoot. They need to get on the same page. Punk needs to be a man. Punk needs to sit there. If he wants to be here and there is no inkling of him even being fired by Warner or Tony Khan, if Punk wants to be here and he wants to continue to make money, they all have to get on the same page. Apologies need to be given by both parties, and we need to move on from this, and we need to get back that locker room that we had in year one and year two before Punk got there. Otherwise, I don't see it getting better. And Punk, if he's not going to apologize and not going to make amends and he's not fired, this is going to set a bad, bad, bad precedent for the entire locker room. And there will be people that have contracts coming up who want out, who don't want to be there, want to go somewhere else, and people who want to potentially join AEW, it may deter them from joining AEW because of the way the locker room continues to be with CM Punk being the leader that he says he is, but he isn't really the leader he says he is. Very bad. Very bad situation. I will keep you guys updated on everything. We will talk about this more on tonight's Dynamite post show. Join me then. This is the very latest, and we will attack this tonight after Dynamite is over. Thank you guys very much for all your support. The tremendous support has blown me away, and I appreciate you guys very much. Hit that thumbs up, 1,000 likes minimum. Hit that subscribe button, and again, live tonight with Jesse right after Dynamite is over to cover all of this, which should be tremendous tonight. One of the biggest Dynamites, maybe the biggest Dynamite ever, with all the news coming out. MJF back, and Tony Khan more than likely will have to address this on Dynamite tonight. CM Punk, Steele, we don't know what their future holds, but hopefully we find out tonight after the show is over. Thank you guys very much, and I'll see you tonight live for Off the Script.